Hello, you guys, and it's Hockey Baby, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be back. Like, I haven't been back in a while. I haven't made a video in like a while. Like, it's been like some months. It's been like since like what has it been like April, May? We're now in September, and it's been a long time. But I'm back. But I'm back, and like I've changed the channel around. It's like the channel's now called Hockey Baby, and I like that name so much because like hockey, Haki, and then baby, Babi. So like the only letters that change are like the H and the K and the B and the B. It's like you get it, yeah. It's like the channel is. I'm going to tell you about how the channel is now. So the channel is broken up into a few different parts. It's broken up into actually like how was it broken up? How was it broken up? Okay, so like there's like makeup talks because I'm gonna be doing makeup. So like I'm gonna be doing my makeup, like a makeup tutorial, and just be talking to you guys about shit. I wanted that video to be that, but I was like, no, I want it to be like a separate video. There's makeup talks, there's music reviews, and like music talks where I'll be talking about music, doing music reviews. I have like two music reviews coming. I think I'm gonna do Renaissance and Reputation. I really want to talk about those albums. I want to talk about them for a very, very long time. So I'm gonna do those. And then there's just gonna be like rants, me talking, story times. That is this, a rant, me talking. And the first like story time is gonna be like my coming out story. And it's not really like a coming out story, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but it's just more so about me like talking about coming out and coming to terms with being gay and also talking about like how being gay affects people coming up older and stuff like that. And we're just gonna get into it. Like we're just gonna talk about it because it's a topic that I wanted to be talking about for like a very long time because like I feel like I have a very unique story and it's not like everybody else's story. So yeah, and I want to talk about it. So let's get into it. I'm like very nervous to tell this story, but like I'm also like very excited. Okay, wait. Ugh. Okay, iPad's unlocked. Okay, so like like okay, so like I'm kind of going to like a store. I'm going to talk about a few stuff first, but then I'm going to do like a chronological order of how it was being up gay and growing up gay, because like growing up gay, I didn't come out until senior year of high school, but like looking back on it, I realized that like I was always gay. Newsflash, I was always gay, and I realized that people around me, my family specifically, always knew I was gay, which is the shocker. Like they always knew I was gay, and like the thing about when I realized that like I was like, wait, I've always been gay was like I was like 3 years old listening to Beyonce's I Am Sasha Fierce, listening to Lady Gaga's Single Ladies. And I was looking back, like I remember I was listening to like I Am Sasha Fierce one day. I was like, oh my gosh. I remember like I used to love Single Ladies when I was younger. And I was like, when I was 3 years old, how did my parents not know I was gay? Like I was thinking like when I was 3 years old and when I was listening to I'm Sasha Fierce and the Fame Monster, how do my parents not know I was gay? Like I was in front of the TV dancing to Single Ladies, dancing to Just Dance and like dancing, singing the songs, loving it. I was watching Dreamgirls. I was like, how do my parents not know I was gay? And then I realized my parents always knew I was gay. And and I have this theory of like, and like, this is like far down in my notes, but like, I'm just gonna address it now. Like, I have this theory that like, the reason why some parents say that like, oh, I already knew you were gay was because like, they knew at a young age and they were waiting you to address it. But I feel like we don't talk about how a lot of parents knew their children were gay and they tried to like suppress it. Like they tried for so long to suppress that and to make sure that their kids were not gay, or they tried to force their kids into being masculine. And that often, what happened with me, because like I was just like, how did my parents not know I was gay? Like I was listening to Lady Gaga and Beyonce, watching Single Ladies. Like I was very feminine at a young age. Like how did my parents not know I was gay? And I realized they always knew, they just suppressed it. And like when I was younger, I feel like had my parents embraced it a tad bit more, let me know it was okay to be gay, mentally I would have been a lot more better. I feel like mentally I would have been a lot more better. And the bullying would have been, I would have navigated it better than I did in elementary school, because in elementary school I feel like I did not navigate that well. I was just like very mean. Like if you were mean to me, I was mean to you. But it's like, in elementary school, just like, okay, they're calling you gay, like who cares? like you didn't have to call that girl a bitch. Like it's like in elementary school, somebody called me gay, like I called you a bitch. Like, oh, I'm gay, like you're an ugly fat bitch. Like I remember in elementary school, this girl called me gay. I said, she was like, you need to stop being gay. I was like, you need to stop being fat. Okay, but like I can understand how like teachers will understand. I can understand how my teachers and parents were like, she called you gay, who cares? But you didn't have to call her fat. Like because like in society, like some people think being gay is a choice, but being fat isn't a choice. So like with the way that people deem view sexuality and view homosexuality, I can understand how my responses were considered a little much. Because like she called you gay, okay. Like you called her fat, like that was very mean. Like that's something she could be insecure about. But also being gay could be something I'm insecure about. So let's just say we both are wrong. But like I can honestly understand how people thought that I was in the wrong for that. Like I can understand that. But like like when I was gay, there was like such an effort, and my parents made such an effort into making sure. When I was younger, sorry, when I was younger, my parents put in such an effort to making sure that I was not gay. Like they put in, like I remember like there being such an effort. Like looking back on it, there was such an effort into making sure that I was not gay. And I won't say that they were homophobic. I would just say there was such an effort into making sure that I was not gay, especially since I was my parents' first son. Like when I was younger, I thought that being gay was a very bad thing because we grew up religious. Like we grew up very, very religious. Like my dad was a deacon and soon became a minister and then an elder and then a pastor. And then my mother was a minister and like my grandmother was an elder. So like we were very religious and very involved in church. And I just remember like thinking being gay was a bad thing. And like also like the way that my family talked about being gay, I thought it was a bad thing because they were talking because like do I necessarily think my parents are homophobic? No, but like I'm pretty sure we all have times where like our parents or our family said some things that was just like, why would you say that about a person? And what really made me think that being gay was a bad thing was the connotation in which people said it to me. Because like I knew in the way that they were saying it was not a way of like it wasn't a positive way. Because often when you're gay and you're getting bullied, teachers are like, being gay means you're happy. We're all happy. We're all gay. Like, no. Like, that's not the way that they meant it. That's not the way that kids on the playground meant it. They meant it to be mean and to be nasty, and they meant it as a bad thing, or that me being gay was a bad thing. And that's why I thought it was bad. Because the way kids said it to me was in an attempt to be mean and to be rude and to be nasty. It wasn't like, oh, you're happy. Like, no. And like, I feel like we often don't talk about how teachers let students get away with bullying people for being gay, or they let the word gay be tossed around because a lot of people view homosexuality and view gayness as a choice. They don't view it as a way that you were born. They don't view it as that. They just view it as a choice. And that's how a lot of students, and that's how a lot of bullying about being gay and about sexuality, students get away with it, especially with the word gay being talked about because they attribute to, oh, well, they meant you're happy. We're all happy. We're all gay. Like, no, that's not how they meant it. And it was kind of insulting to have it dumbed down in that way, if I'm being truthfully honest. And like, I would say, like, as I got older, we stopped going to church a lot more often. Like, my parents, like, my mother got kicked out of church and it was a whole thing. And then, like, my parents started their own church and we went back. And then, like, when my parents started going through a divorce, like, we stopped, like, going to church. So we stopped going to church a lot more often. Like, my dad, like, his religion changed. Like, it was a lot. So, like, we stopped going to church. Like, when I was in high school, I was not forced to go to church. We stopped going to church for a while. And, like, I wasn't forced to go to church every single Sunday. And, like, religion was not really forced upon us that much because my parents were going through a divorce and there was just a lot going on at home. And, like, religion was not the forefront in high school for me. It really wasn't. But I will say, like, religion played a big part in what it meant to be gay. And when I was younger, I didn't have a concept of sexuality. I didn't have a concept of sexuality. All I knew was that there was gay and that there was straight, and that being straight was right and being gay was wrong. And the reason why I thought that being gay was wrong was because of, once again, the way people would use it. The way people used it was not a good way. Like, I knew in the way that people were using it, they were using it to be mean and they were using it in a derogatory way. Because it's just like, they'd be like, oh, you're gay, or stop being gay, or you're faggot. Like, I knew that they were not using it in a positive connotation. And like I said, teachers often try to spin it. Like when I would tell teachers, they would often try to spin it and be like, "Oh, that just means you're happy. They're saying you're happy. Like we're all gay, we're all happy." And it's like, no, they didn't mean it that way. And once again, like I said, the reason why bullying when it comes to sexuality or being gay, a lot of kids get away with it is because a lot of people view being gay or they view homosexuality as a choice. They view it as a choice and they view it as something you could change or they view it as something not serious. And a lot of them don't know that that affects students and it affects the way they think and the way they feel and the way they grow up. Like a lot of students are able to get away with bullying other students for being gay because of the way society thinks about sexuality. And for a long time I thought it was a bad thing, and I thought it was a bad thing because of the way that people would use that word to me. So yeah, and like that's a lot of the reasons why I was affected with coming out or coming to the terms with being gay, or I was affected with what does it mean to be gay? Because I didn't really know the real meaning of being gay until like I'd say high school. I'd say high school was like the first time of back. That was like the first time of when I found out the real meaning of being gay, and that it wasn't really a derogatory term, and that it wasn't a bad thing, you know. And with the terms of religion, I will say how I became confident with being gay and with religion was looking at it at a moral standpoint. Looking at, like, I feel like with these last few years, I really looked at the Bible and religion at a moral standpoint. And, like, I was like, I thought about it as what is morally wrong and morally corrupt with being gay? What is morally wrong with it? What is morally corrupt about it? And I was like, there's nothing morally wrong with a man having relations with another man or a woman having another relations with another woman. There's nothing morally wrong with it. There's morally wrong with raping somebody. There's morally wrong with killing somebody. There's morally wrong with probably cheating. There's morally wrong with things with those things. But what is morally wrong about being gay outside of the Bible tells you so? Nobody can give you a sort of reason why. And like with being religious and with growing up in church, what really helped me come to terms with being gay was more so thinking about your relationship with God and thinking about my relationship with God and thinking about my morals and thinking about myself as a human being and what I deem to be right and to be wrong compared to what the Bible deems to be right and to be wrong. And I decided not to conform to religion, but more so thinking about my relationship with God. And I think a lot of people, that will help a lot of people think about it that way. More so thinking about religion on a moral level, thinking about homosexuality on a moral level, and thinking about your relationship with God and not about religion. Because religion is flawed. Religion is flawed, and religion is not the end all be all. And I know a lot of people think religion is going to help you get to heaven, but if we're quite being honest, it's not. So that really helped me come to terms with being gay within these last few years. Now, back to me saying when I was younger, like I remember there was an effort in like to making sure I wasn't gay. Like I remember like my parents, like from like first to third grade, they controlled what I watched. They controlled what I watched, what I listened to. And like today when I hear parents having the outrage of like Little Nas X or like Cardi B was there was a parent was like, my child can listen to WAP, but yours can't, Cardi B. And like when parents are always like, I don't like that my child is being exposed to this homosexuality, my parents censored what I watched. I remember they censored what I watched, what I listened to. There was a like from first grade to third grade, like I remember like they censored what I listened to. There was like I didn't listen to Beyonce or Lady Gaga unless it was on the radio. Compared to like there was like a little iPod that we had it on, but like I stopped using the iPod and like I could only listen to what was on the radio. I would only listen to what was on the radio. They censored what TV shows I watched. Like I wasn't allowed to watch like feminine shows or like Barbie shows or like Monster High. Like I was able only to watch like the girly shows if my sisters were watching it. Like I remember we had turns on the TV. So like my turn on the TV, I couldn't pick to watch Monster High. My parents would be like, "Why are you watching that?" They'd be like, "Pick something else." So like I'd pick something else to watch. So like when parents today are like, they're forcing this homosexuality on our kids. No, they're not. Just censor what your child is watching. My parents censored what I was watching and what I was doing and what I was listening to. You can do it for your child too. Is it right to do that? No, but as a parent, you have the right to censor what your child is listening to and what they are intaking. So, like, when parents are like, they're forcing homosexuality on our children, no, they're not. You can censor what your child is watching. Now, was my parents doing that right? No. But I don't like this theme of like homosexuality is being forced in our throat. No, heterosexuality is being forced in our throats. It's been forced down our throats since the beginning of time. It's taught in education. It's taught in religion. It's taught in movies, in film, and music, and everything. Heterosexuality is being forced on our throats, not homosexuality. So like, if you don't like homosexuality, censor it from your children. Because my parents did it for me. Period. Point blank. That's what I think about it. But I do remember like my parents stopped me from watching Housewives a little bit. Like I couldn't voluntarily watch Housewives. Like there were sometimes like if it was on, my parents would be like, get out my room, like you can't watch this. Like they censored like the music I listened to, like we would only listen to Beyonce if it was on the radio. Like, and there were certain Disney shows that I couldn't watch. Like, I couldn't watch the princess shows. They were like, you're not watching the princess stuff. Like, you're not watching that. Like, no. Like you're not. Like you're not watching that. Like, and like I do remember like there were like some times where like the word gay being thrown around, like my parents were like, I remember something like my mom was like, I'm gonna send you to the military if you keep acting like a girl. Like I remember there was one time where, like I got in trouble, like we were getting ready for church, and like my brother was like, he's putting on his shirt like a girl to get me in trouble, and like my brother would sometimes do things like that in order to get me in trouble. He was like, he's acting like a girl, or he's putting on a shirt like a girl. And my parents like, if you don't stop, you're gonna get in trouble. Like specifically my dad. My dad. I won't say my dad is homophobic per se, but I will say he had some flawed characteristics when it comes to sexuality. And I will say my sister is gay, but like I don't think they really cared about her being gay. No, I would say there were some times where like they did try to censor her, but they didn't try to censor her as much as me. I feel like people view women being gay compared to men being gay totally different. Because with women, they're still like, I feel like people view women being gay and men being gay as totally different, because like with women, like they still view it as, well, there's a chance for you to still have children. I feel like with men, they totally exile the thought of you can have kids or something like that. Like women, I still feel like they still think there's an opportunity for a man to still be in her life. Like I feel like with women, they view being gay as more so as a phase than they do with men. With men, they view it as like totally like this, like, oh my gosh, you're going to hell. There's something wrong with you. Like you need help. But like with women, I feel like they totally are like, and I saw like this creator said, people don't have more so of a problem with women being gay because men still see themselves as being able to get with them or being able to convert them to being straight, which I totally agree with. And I feel like that's kind of flawed of like people thinking that like they can convert women. And I feel like that is kind of like a problem. And I do feel like women shouldn't have to deal with that. I will say that. But like when I was younger, I do remember there were times where like I did get in trouble for like doing gay things. Like I remember like one time like I was imitating my mother and like I put on like her dress and her heels as a joke, and like my father, like my sister thought it was funny, and like she called my dad to the room because like she thought it was funny, and like my dad whooped me. She's like, "You do not wear a dress. You do not wear heels." Like he was very mad about that, and I'm like, I was just imitating my mom. Like I was just playing dress up, and like he was like very mad about it, and he whooped me, and I was like, well, don't do that anymore. Like, and like younger me, I was like, I don't know what was going on. Like I remember there was a time where like my brother called my father gay. Mind you, my brother is 3 years old. My brother called my father gay, and my father like he got so mad and he whooped him. I was like, he just called you gay. Like I'm like, did that really warrant that response? And that's why I thought once again gay was bad because of the response that my parents had to it. And like I think my brother got that word because my mother was talking about some gay person, because I remember she came home and she was talking about this gay guy. It was either this gay guy who she worked with or she went to school with. There was a gay guy that she knew that she was talking about, and she would be talking about him all the time. And her and my father would be making jokes about him. And like one day my brother called my father gay, and then my father got mad. He whooped him. And then my mother came home and she was talking about that gay man again. And then my father was like, we're not to talk about that man around him. We're not to use the word gay. Like, he just called me gay. Do you understand? Like, and I remember it was a whole thing. And my parents got into like this big argument about my brother calling my father gay and my father whooping him. Like, it was this big thing. It was a big argument. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. And that's why I also thought it was a bad thing. But like, So like yeah, like there was things like that, and like I remember there were times like my parents were like, oh, like my father really wanted me to play football. Like when I was younger, he wanted to put me in a little league, and the only reason why I didn't get the only reason why I didn't get put into the little league was because we couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford it, so we didn't do it. And like I remember like so now I'm getting like to elementary school, like I remember like third grade, like I remember like I played football like with the kids, like because like first and second grade I got bullied a little bit, but third grade I really wanted to fit in and I really wanted people to not think I was gay, so like I just played football. I played football on the playground. I was very bad at it. I was really bad at it, and I tried to fit in so bad, but like I wanted to hang with the girls. Like I tried so badly to like fit in, but like I just couldn't. Fourth grade, I went back to hanging with the girls. I went to playing on the playground, and just like in fourth grade, I did dance. Nobody told me I would get bullied 10 times more if I did dance. Like I was really good at it, and like in fourth grade, I did dance because we had the option to do honors classes. Like they had, I went to like a performing arts school in elementary school, and we had the chance to do like art classes. And the two ones I had was orchestra and dance. In fourth grade, what happened was you would miss one of your artsy classes to one of your specials. They call it specials. You miss one of your specials to do the honors classes. And orchestra conflicted with dance. And I liked orchestra and I liked dance. And I remember the orchestra teacher was like, I really want you to do my honors class. And I remember the dance teacher was like, I really want you to do my dance class. And like orchestra conflicted. So basically, I would have orchestra on 2 days. So it's like you have orchestra on 2 days or dance on 2 days. And I was gonna have orchestra. I was either gonna have orchestra on 2 days or dance on 2 days. So what made me choose dance was because in orchestra I was like, she was like, in orchestra like you get to choose your instrument and like you get your special instrument. And I was like, and she was like, what instrument do you want? And I was like, she was like, what instrument do you want? And I was like, I want to do the cello. And she was like, you're too short for that. She was like, let's see if you can reach. And I couldn't reach. And she's like, yeah, you're too short for that. You can't do the cello. So since I couldn't play the cello, I did dance. So yeah, I did dance in fourth grade because she wouldn't let me play the cello. But I was like, if I can't play the cello, then I'm gonna do dance. She's like, no, no, please do orchestra. She's like, I think this instrument will work very well. She tried to introduce me to another instrument, and I was like, no, I want to do the cello. I was like, since I can't do the cello, I'll do dance. So I did dance because I couldn't play the cello. So yeah, and I did dance, and I really liked dance. I did get bullied like a lot. It was like very bad, but like I still loved it, and that didn't deter me from doing it. And like I did dance at theater, and like I really loved it. Now fifth grade, it got bad. Fifth grade, I remember this guy came into like the dance class, and he was straight, and like he was obviously like more masculine than me. And like I remember he started bullying me like in the class. Like when the teacher wasn't looking, I got bullied. He would call me gay, and like outside, like that was when like dance, like dance for me in fourth grade was like a very safe space. It was a very safe space. I loved it, but like fifth grade was when like it did not become a safe space. Like when that guy was in that class and like was actively bullying me, it was like my safe space was now not a safe space anymore. And like the teacher did not care. And like once again, like back to like me saying like people view homosexuality as a choice. Like the teacher was like, you need to get over it because like I'm not gonna get in this drama like with that you and this guy have. She's like, you need to understand that like he's not that like he's just like she's like, you need to ignore it. She's like, I'm not gonna get involved with this drama. And like I was like, oh my god, like if I can't escape this bullying anywhere, it was just like I'm really not safe. And I was like, it's really gonna be a bad thing for me. So like I stopped doing dance in middle school. But we'll get into that. But like elementary school, what other things happen at elementary school? Yeah. I will say the first time I got bullied, I remember was in church. It dates back to when I was in third grade. When I was 3 or 4 was the first time I got bullied in church. Once again, I liked Beyonce and Lady Gaga. So like I was always singing Beyonce and Lady Gaga. Was probably singing it in church. I remember the first time I got bullied was by my god cousin. No, by my god brother. I hate that man. Always hated that man. I will always hate that man. I will never like that man. I will never like that man because what he did to me was like he bullied like mind you, he was like 10 years older than me. He was 10 years older than me, bullying me for literally no reason. And I didn't understand it. And I remember one day he had bullied me and like I just let it slide. But then the next day, like I remember like it was a Saturday, we were at church and he had called me gay as a joke. And everybody laughed. And then like so like that Sunday, like I like ooh. Okay, so back to it. The Saturday, my god cousin had called me gay as a joke, bullying me. And I remember I planned my revenge. I was like, this bitch is not gonna keep getting away with calling me gay as a joke and having everybody laughed. So like I pretended to cry in church. My mother asked me what was wrong, and I was like, he called me gay, which he didn't call me gay that day. It was actually like a week ago he had called me gay, but I just said, that day I want to blame him, and he got in trouble by his parents for that. And like my parents made it a big cool thing, my mother made it a big cool thing, and he got in trouble for that. And yes, I did lie, but I don't care about lying because he was bullying me. He was bullying me, and at that time I had said nothing to my parents because like I was just like as that was the first time I had said something to my parents. But then like he continued to bully me and continued to bully me. He did not care. And at a certain point it got to where my parents stopped caring. They're like, we're not finna keep talking to this boy about him calling you gay. Like, you need to ignore it. And at that point they kind of care about more so the church and their position in church than about me getting bullied for being gay. So yeah, he bullied me for being gay a lot. Like he didn't like me. I didn't like him. And like I remember so vividly a time where he got up in church and talked about how he got bullied. I think for like he was special needs. He wasn't like special needs. Not to be rude. He wasn't like special needs. He was just like maybe like autistic or like had ADHD. Like a mild case of it, honey. It was a very mild case of it. Like you wouldn't be able to notice it. But like he was a little slow. Not a lot of slow. He was just a little slow. But like I remember he got up in front of the church and he's like, bullying is not good. It doesn't feel to get bullied. It doesn't feel good to be bullied. Don't bully people. But yet he was bullying me. So like after that, I had my foot on that bitch's neck. And yes, a few times I did call him the R word because I knew that's what the kids were calling him at school. But like he was bullying me, so I saw it as fair game. Which once again that goes back to like my reaction to other people did not fit the crime because once again being gay is a choice, especially in church. So like my reaction often did not fit the crime of that. Like me calling him the R word did not often fit the crime of that because I was choosing to be gay. Or like they were like trying to like make sure I wasn't gay. Mind you, in elementary school and middle school, I was not gay. I did not view myself as gay. I didn't view myself as gay. But like yeah, in elementary school, I was bullied a lot. In church, I was bullied a lot. It was difficult, but like I remember like we wrapped up the dance party. We wrapped up middle school and we had this dance party. And my teacher was like, share one my dance teacher was like, share one thing that you're looking forward to in middle school and one thing that you're scared for. And I was like, I'm looking forward to making new friends. And it's like one thing I'm scared about is I'm scared about getting lost. Or and that was like such a lie. Like in the back of my head, I was like, I'm scared like I'm gonna get bullied for being gay. And Lord and behold, it happened. First week of school, I'm telling you, first week of school, I got called gay. They're like, are you gay? I'm like, God damn, like I thought I was gonna escape this, but like I didn't. And like in middle school, like how I combated it was like, if you called me gay, I said something crazier back. Like, if you called me gay, I talked about you. Like I remember there was this one guy who's like, you're gay, and I was like, you're wearing the same shoes from seventh grade. Like there was this one girl, like she called me gay. She was like, you're gay. And I was like, remember when you tried to kill yourself because your news got leaked? Like in middle school, if somebody called me gay, like I reacted back. Like I remember there was one time somebody called me gay and I outed him. This is a friend of mine. He called me gay and I outed him because I knew because at the time like he confided in me and told me he was gay and I outed him, which is that bad? Yes, but my thing is like he called me gay and like he didn't just call me gay, he like accused me of like grape. So like I outed him. And like honey, I did not care about outing him. I was like, honey, yep, outed you. Like in middle school, like if people called me gay, my reactions would be insane. Like I would just like talk shit about them. Like I would literally like go in on them. Like if middle school somebody called me gay, like I would go in on them. And like was that the best reaction? No, but that's the only way I knew to combat the meanness. Because if like I didn't hit back at them, they would just keep calling me gay and keep calling me gay and keep calling me gay and keep calling me gay. And like I just wasn't gonna let anybody punk me, or talk shit about me when I knew that I was not gay, or when I knew that like you were not in a position to talk shit about me. That was just my way of thinking. And like in middle school is very hard for me. It was very difficult. And like teachers were like, Hakeem, you just have to ignore. Just ignore. And like I could not ignore it. Like I couldn't ignore it because I'm like, it's not true. And you guys are just being mean and you're being rude for like no reason. So like in middle school, like I did not ignore that shit. I just couldn't let it go. For some reason I couldn't. So like going into high school was so different for me. And I have to wrap this up now. I have to start wrapping this up. So I'm gonna fly through high school. High school was very difficult for me. Like I remember like COVID happened, I had COVID, nobody cared. Sophomore year, nobody really asked about my sexuality. Like high school was easy breezy. Nobody asked about my sexuality. Nobody cared about it. Like but then like the first but as junior year went along, that's when like I started making friends and people started asking about my sexuality. And this was the first time, junior year was the first time I remember people asked me about my sexuality in a positive way, which was very new to me because like often people would ask it as a joke or as a way to like they would ask me being gay as like to make me the butt of their joke or to be rude or to be disrespectful. But like people were actually asking like, "Are you gay?" Like not as a way to be mean, but because like, "Oh, like I'm gay," or like I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend, or like I want to know if you're gay. Like, and I was like, I don't really know. Junior year, I would say I don't know because like I didn't know. And like to put this into perspective, my high school was like very gay. Like I went to like a performing arts high school. Like every a lot half of the school was gay. Half of the school was either gay or bi, or people were like okay with you being gay. So like it wasn't this big thing of like, oh my gosh, you're gay. Like in middle school, it was like, oh my gosh, you're gay. But in high school, it wasn't like that. It was like, oh, you're gay. Like okay, purely clean. Like yes, like it was like yes, clean. But like in middle school, it was like you're gay, you're gay. Like in high school, it was just like I remember it being so easy reason. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's so chill. Like it's so chill. Now, like some of the people were like bitches, but like I never saw somebody like at my school personally being a bitch because I was gay. Like in high school, I was asked if I was gay as a joke, or somebody made a joke about my sexuality and me being gay in a negative kind of way, in a negative connotation, maybe less than 5 times. And like I can say that I am so grateful for that because not everybody had that experience, and not everybody goes to high school to where they can say that like I didn't really get bullied for being gay. So like my high school was like very welcoming, and so were the teachers too. It's like I will say that, but like also like I never dressed my sexuality because like in high school like I didn't care about dating. In high school I didn't care about dating. I was like, there's no needing me like dating somebody because like the relationship is going to end when I go to college because I know it's not going to last. And that was the way of like me kind of like not addressing my sexuality. I think that was a way of me hiding behind not addressing it. But like I will say towards like the end, towards like second semester, towards the end of junior year, that's when I really started developing an attraction to men. That's when I thought like boys are cute. I was like, oh, this boy in my piano class is he's kind of cute. I was like, oh, this guy in the hallway, he's kind of cute. I was like, oh, this guy's cute. And like I also thought girls were cute, but then I realized I was like, no, I just think you're a bad bitch. Like I don't think you're cute like I date you. I just think you're a bad bitch. But like guys, I'm like, I I, I want to kiss. Like I want to kiss. Like I remember I thought guys were like kind of cute. I was like, oh, like I want to kiss. I was like, yeah, I want to kiss a guy. Like I remember like in junior year, I was like, I want to kiss a guy. But like I was still like, I don't think I'm gay though. But like I just want to kiss a guy. Like I remember like I was just like in junior year, I was like, I want to kiss a guy. Like I'm not gay, but like I want to kiss a guy. Like I'm not gay, but I want to kiss a guy. Like that was my thought process junior year. And like I remember like thinking like there's this guy that's like in my piano class that's kind of cute, or like there's this guy that's like in my gopo class that's kind of cute, or like there's this guy that like in this class that's like kind of cute. Like I just remember like I remember like I could pick out like a guy in each one of my classes in junior year that I thought was cute. I was like, oh, he's kind of fine. Like, and that's just like how like I slowly started to like become gay. And like I remember like over the summer, like I thought about my sexuality, and like what made me think about my sexuality was Renaissance, the album. Renaissance, I love that album, and like I started thinking about the community more, and I started getting like I started loving the gay community more with the album of Renaissance, and I started like doing more research on the community and listening to more gay artists and really embracing it more, and like I just like really like fell in love with the gay community, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I love this. And like I love like gay people. Like I just like love the community, and like Renaissance really gave me the courage to like not come out to but to like embrace myself because I want to put emphasis on. I did not come out. I just started embracing myself and embracing who I am because I was always gay. But like what sparked me really like embracing being myself was this boy at homecoming. So on homecoming, I was on homecoming court because my best friend was she was running and she asked me to escort her, so I was her escort. And I remember it was like the pep rally, and we were dressed up because like they were going to introduce the homecoming court, and like this boy asked like, "Oh, are you on the homecoming court?" Like da da da. Like, and I was like, yeah, like I'm not running, but like my best friend is like she's running, and he was like, and I was like, "Oh, who are you voting for?" And like he was like, "Oh, I forgot the people." Who's like, "Who are there?" I was like, there's this guy, there's that guy, and like I named this one guy, and we're just gonna call him David. We're just gonna call him David. And I was like, oh, and there's David. And he was like, is that gay dude? I was like, yeah. And he was like, I'm not voting for no gay dude. I was like, what is him having to be gay? How would you voting for him? He's like, I don't know. I was like, there's nothing wrong with him being gay. I was like, stop being weird. He's like, oh, let's take a picture. He's like, wait, are you gay? I was like, what does that have to do with anything? I was like, do you want the picture or not? I was like, do you want to take a picture or not? And like, he just took a picture because I was like, what did that have to do? Like, what did him being gay have to do with you voting for him? Like, I remember, like, although I wasn't gay, I still stood up for gay people. And I was like, don't be homophobic. Like, why are you being homophobic? But like, when he asked me, like, was I gay? I was like, I had not been asked that question in a while. And like, that whole day, I was thinking about, am I gay or am I not? So like, that moment really made me like embrace being myself. And I remember like that whole day when that guy asked me, was I gay? I was just thinking about it the whole day throughout homecoming, throughout homecoming. And I remember and the album I was listening to that day was Hard Candy by Madonna. I was listening to Hard Candy by Madonna. I just remember like I was thinking like, am I gay? Like, am I gay? Am I not? Like, I don't know. But like my outfit was cute that day. And I felt like a bad bitch that day. It's like I was like, I don't give a fuck. I just look good. But like I was thinking about it the whole day. And like as I was on the ride home, and as I was listening to Hard Candy by Madonna, Candy Shop was playing the live version, and I was like, I'm gay. I was like, I'm gay, and like it was just like I'm just gonna be myself. And like when I realized I was gay, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna come out? And then like I was like, how was I gonna come out? And that put like a lot of pressure on me, kind of. I feel like, but then like I saw like this Taraji P Henson quote, and she was like, I don't like the idea of gay people coming out. I don't like that idea. She's like, because it's not normal. She's like, because straight people don't have to come out. So she's like, why do gay people have to come out? And I was like, I'm not gonna come out. I'm just gonna start being my unapologetic self. I'm just gonna start talking about my interests. Like, and if we're talking about guys, and I think a guy's cute, I'm gonna think a guy's cute. Like, I'm just gonna start being myself. And like, when I started being myself, people were like, "Are you gay?" I just be like, "Yeah." And like, what I vowed to do was, I vowed to myself that if somebody asked if I was gay, I would always say yes. This was senior year, around September. I said, if somebody asked if I was gay, I will say yes because I am. And that's what I did. I just said I was gay and I would just be my unapologetic self. And I just really want, like, if you're having trouble like coming out and if you feel there's a lot of pressure, I would just encourage you to just be your unapologetic self. Be your unapologetic self. Be carefree. Somebody asks if you're gay, if you're confident enough to say yes, say yes. And like, yeah. So like, let me see what else I want to talk about. And I do want to say I was kind of never in the closet. I just like didn't have a gauge of what sexuality was. I was never in the college. I was never in the closet. I was never like, oh, I'm on the down low. Like, I was like, I'm never on the down low. I was just saying I wasn't gay because I didn't view myself as gay, or I didn't know the concept of sexuality yet. I didn't know the positive concept of sexuality yet. And I feel like a lot of people, a lot of children don't know the positive concept of sexuality. And I feel like parents should teach them the positive concepts of sexuality instead of the negative ones, because often the negative ones are taught, and that hinders children a lot. And I do want to say that I just feel like now, like, I'm so glad that like I can be myself. I will say, am I out? I just feel like if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. With my parents, I'm not like, in the terms of the world. With my parents, I am not out, but I feel like they know. And I feel like there's no need of me like coming out to my parents, because I feel like if I was to call my mother right now and be like, I'm gay, she'd be like, I already knew that. And like my dad would be the same. I will say with my dad, like, I feel like they knew I was gay, especially in high school. I feel like they really started to pick up on it more, especially my dad, because my dad was like, oh, your mother thinks you have a girlfriend because you took some cookies to school for a girl, and like, I'm gonna get you some condoms. Like, woke me up out of my sleep to talk about that. I was like, I took cookies to my school. I was like, I took some cookies to school for lunch and I gave them to my friends. I was like, that's all it was. I was like, I don't have a girlfriend. And I was like, I don't need condoms. Like, he kept trying to have like these bro talks with me, like, oh, like, when you get a girlfriend, you're gonna need to use condoms. He's like, when you go to college, I'm gonna get you condoms. And then like I remember like in middle school, he was like, if there's not one girl, if there's not one girl in your friend group, because I hung around with a lot of girls, he's like, if there's not one girl in your friend group that you like or that you would fuck, then that's a problem. He was like, by the end of the week, I want you to name me one girl who you like in your friend group. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's so stupid. Like, he was just like, my dad was more so trying to make me be straight. I don't want to say make me be straight, but he wanted me to be straight. Like, he wanted me to be straight. Do I think he's homophobic? No. Do I think he have a problem with it? No. But I do think his bonding, I do think that he wish he had. I do think he wish he could bond with me over talking about girls the way normal fathers and sons do. And that's something that he will never get from me. Because I do share his name. I do share his name. We do have the same name. And like my parents do, I am their favorite child. And they do see me being very successful. So I can see how he would want me to be straight. But honey, that's not gonna happen here. But like I will say that like I'm very glad of who I am today. I'm very glad that like I'm confident because I will say like 10 years ago, like in middle school, I was not this person. I was not confident. I did not have what it took to be confident. I could say I'm glad to be my unapologetic self. I'm glad that like I'm feminine and that I can talk about liking boys and talk about my musical taste and dress the way I want to dress and talk the way I want to talk and have the interest that I have and know that there are people around me who have the same interest or know that like I won't be judged and like I can wear makeup and like it's like okay you're wearing makeup like bitch you look good like I just like that like I live in a generation to where it's more so good to be gay and like there's more people who have come to terms with it and I like that like I like the person who I am today because I feel like I said, like in middle school, I could not be that person. Like if anybody knows me from middle school, like then they're like, I was not as confident with being gay. Like I was still like a very outgoing person, and I still said like out of pocket shit. Like I was not confident with being gay, and like I just like was like not. I was not confident in my sexuality as I am now. Like now I am so much more confident in my sexuality. And I do believe I do have like a long ways to go with still being more confident and still being more myself. But like I was like, I'm so confident in my sexuality and I'm proud to be as confident as I am. And I'm proud to just embrace who I am. And like for anybody who's like I don't think I have anything else to say. But like for anybody else who's just like struggling with like being gay or like coming out, I would say like just start being yourself and just start little by being yourself with your friends and being real and then like start by being yourself with your family. And like I would say coming out in high school was the perfect time for me. Coming out senior year was like the perfect time for me because it was the transition into college. I do wish I would have came out sooner or been my unapologetic self sooner because I would have made more friends sooner. But like I was just so nervous, and, like so scared to like be judged and be bullied in high school. But like had I known that like it was like such a like really like opening environment, I would have came out sooner. But like yeah, that's my coming out story. I hope you guys like it. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Hope you guys like it. Please, if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. And yeah, bye.